On this episode of South Florida Merch, we're going to be screen printing. Who would have thought? Mind you, have no experience, never done this before, so if you want to see how you can do it at home, keep watching. So one way you can go about it is go to Amazon, buy a screen printing kit, little stand, little press, couple of colors, between $80 and $150 depending on which one you get, or you can make your own. I love making stuff, so why not? So what did I do? I went to Miami Screen Printing Supply, which is one of the only screen printing suppliers down here in South Florida and Miami. I spent about almost $100 in stuff. So I got a 155 count screen printing frame with a mesh, and we're not going to be burning screens. Actually, we're going to be using our vinyl cutter to cut a vinyl design, kind of stick it on here and screen press through that. So I got this, got the squeegee, I got these clamps, which I'll show you a little close up of these later, but these clamps are what hold that frame in place to kind of give you the hinge. So if you can imagine, this will be in here, and you put it on top of the shirt and screen print through that. So I got those, I think they're called press hinges or something like that. I got two colors, so I'm printing a couple of shirts for a friend. I'm using water-based ink. Most people use Plastisol, but since I'm just experimenting and I don't want to get extra cleaners, water-based ink, I can just kind of wash it up with the hose and be done with it. If down the road I want to get more into it, I'll get different inks. I might even buy a press if I had the room. So what did I do? I got that. I got this spray tack, Fast Tack 384 to kind of spray on the palette to keep the shirt in place while you're pressing. What else? I bought a heat gun at Home Depot to cure the ink because I don't have the equipment. So this is all do it yourself, do it at home. So let me show you kind of what I did. I had some leftover wood. Let me get this clamp out of the way. Had some leftover wood from a shelf. It's about the width of a shirt. Kind of rounded off the corners here in the front so the shirts don't snag. I screwed these clamps in just with 4 screws, and I kind of reinforced the bottom a little bit just to make the front end of the pallet, as they call it in the trade, a little stiffer. So once I clamp this in place, and I'll clamp it down pretty much, and I'll kind of go through a dry run. And we're doing this together because I've only done this a couple of times. So you kind of put the, let me take it down. Kind of put the screens in here, and I'll line it up later. I have some center marks, but I just kind of want to show you. Gonna line it up here. I'll tighten it up and align it later. Slide your shirt in here. The design will be here, which kind of gonna go through how I'm gonna do it. And then set it down, put some ink on here, wipe it across, pick this up, you just made a shirt. So follow along as I go through the process. Like I said, never done this before. I've seen a million YouTube videos, so I feel like I've been doing this my whole life, but I'm a little scared, I have to say. So anyways, follow along, watch the rest of the video. If it gets too long, I might cut it up into 2 pieces. And here we go. So let's go. Okay, so let's do this thing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the vinyl out with my Cricut Maker. Now, in the first video that I've made on this channel, I showed you the unboxing for the Silhouette Cameo 3, and I'll post a follow-up video as to why I actually returned that one and bought the Cricut Maker 3. This thing is beautiful. It's a beautiful high quality machine. Yes, it was another couple $100 more than the Silhouette, but I'm happy I got it. Anyways, we're also gonna use the Cricut Design Space to set up our design. And if you can see the design, it's right here. It's actually for a friend. I'm not selling these. Yeah, they are Disney, and I don't recommend doing any Disney shirts and selling them. But this is for a friend, and it's also an experiment. So let's do it. So let me jump over to the software, and let's see what we can do. So I'm going to go in here to the design.cricut.com, which is actually the designing platform for Cricut. I like it much better than the Silhouette one. Silhouette one is an application you download onto your computer. The Cricut one actually lives in the cloud, so you log into their servers. Your files are kept in the cloud. You can access them from your iPad. You can create stuff on your iPad or iPhone, put them up in the cloud, and finish them on the desktop, and then print them here. So I already created I created the design in Photoshop, and let's see how this opens up. Got the design here, and it says to make it. I already imported the pictures and kind of set them up where I wanted. And this is kind of the design that I'm going to have, but it's not going to fit on my sheet because the sheet I'm using is a piece of vinyl which is 12 by 12, and this image is actually too big. So cancel to return to the canvas. I need to return to the canvas and go back in here. Here's kind of where you lay things out. You have layers here. So what I need to do is actually select all, and then make the whole image smaller so it fits. Let's go by 11. The height is 10.88 inches. That should be fine. So it's a little bit smaller just so it fits on this 12 by 12 sheet. If I had a longer sheet or roll, I could have used it a little longer, but since this is an experiment, first time I'm doing, it's all I have, we're just going to go with it. So right now the design is actually 8 inches wide by 10 inches tall. That's what they're going to get. 8 inches. Well, that's kind of narrow. You know what? I think I'm going to have to go and buy some more vinyl. Okay, so I'm back. After realizing that my design is a little bit more than 12 inches, I had to run out and go to Michael's. So I picked up some other things, a little scraper I needed. I bought a roll of black film, which it's a Cricut brand. It's kind of expensive. I wanted the Caesar brand, but that's now 12 by 4 feet, which is plenty enough. And I bought a 12-inch by 24 mat, so I can put the longer paper on. So anyways, let's go to the machine and just see this thing cutting. I weeded out the designs, put the transfer paper on. Now I'm going to put them on the screen in reverse on the bottom side of the screen. Mental note, I saw in a YouTube video how you can use contact paper as the transfer paper, and yes you can, but I don't recommend it. Contact paper is very thin, it's hard to place down. It's better to spend a little more and get the good quality, the real transfer paper. This was made by Caesar. It goes down like a charm. So what I'm going to do is put this reverse image on the screen, and then we're going to flip it over and screen it. So let's see how this goes. So I'm going to see what happens. So after a lot of difficulties taking this thing off and putting it on, putting the transfer on, finally got it. Some of the little pieces in the middle of the letters came apart. It's a little ripped, but I got it on there, got it centered. I got to make some modifications if I keep using this thing, but I think I'm just going to buy a screen print machine. But I think my design is too low from where the shirt starts, but we'll kind of adjust it when the shirt when I put the shirts down. So now I'm going to mask off these areas, and I'm going to try a test run. So we'll see how it goes. It looks pretty centered, looks level. Let's see what happens. All right, YouTube, brace yourselves. So I got everything ready. I got some, I think I taped off everywhere. I hope I did. This is a practice shirt. I'm just gonna try it and see what happens. Got my squeegee here, brand new. Got some paint here. Got a practice shirt. Let's see what happens, folks. So, never done this. Don't know what it's gonna look like or what's gonna happen, but this is what I see them do on YouTube. So just put some paint here. It's probably too much ink. They didn't say paint, it said ink. Apparently that's a bad word for screen printers. Now this is water-based ink, so it does dry. Just by evaporation. So I'm going to flood the screen, which is kind of just running. I think I need more ink. It's kind of, I think I need more ink. Probably don't need more ink. It's just I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I need more ink. Let's just put more. You can always clean up later. And I don't even know how this cleans up in with the hose, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. This is a test shirt, so it's probably way too much ink. I gotta buy all those little fancy tools for people that they use. All right. So kind of just kind of get the, here it goes. Nice tight. Gotta go all the way. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what happens. This is a test. And the majority of it looks good, but as you can see, the middle looks decent. I think I got ink on it when I pulled it out. I think I just did a boo-boo. All right, so this shirt's no good. So let's clean this here. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just go for it. I can always buy more shirts or tell them that I broke my screen print machine. So this is a real one. I think these quarters, I put these quarters up here to give it some off contact, but I think it's too much. I'm gonna take them off. And you're supposed to flood the screen in between. Sure your ink doesn't dry, but what do I know? So let's try to get it lined up, centered. I think it's kind of the center there. These shirts are a little long, so oh man, I don't know. Here goes nothing. Oh shoot, I knew I forgot. So you get this thing and you spray it on there, and you're supposed to let it dry till it's tacky. But let me flood the screen. This is like the Bad News Bears meets screen printing. I don't want my ink to dry on there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So it's tacky. Okay, that's good enough for me. So put the shirt, bring it back. I think I said the collar's gonna be like right there. Actually, if it's a little lower, I can deal with that. That looks pretty centered. Let it out. This is for all the marbles. So there you go. Put the screen down. Let's do a push. Throw the screen again. Beautiful. I will take that any day of the week. So I want to show off the camera because I gotta dry these. My screen print experiment was a total disaster. Well, actually not a total disaster. The first two shirts came out great. After that, I think the ink started drying. I started getting clogs in the screens. I wasn't getting enough coverage. I was making a mess. I had ink all over my hands. The stuff was sticking to the shirt. It was a mess. It was a mess. I do think you can get away with it for maybe 1 or 2 shirts. And unless you use plastisol inks, I just don't have anything to clean it up with. But overall, I learned something new. I learned that I don't want to be screen printing shirts anymore. So I'm going to stick to merch by Amazon or Etsy, or heat pressing and vinyl, or plastisol transfers heat pressed on shirts. So the experiment was a success because I know what not to do next time, or what I don't want to do anymore. But it was a failure because I have an order of 9 shirts that I got to get done by today. So I don't have my heat press yet. I ordered it today. I should get it next week. So I got to go now to Michael's, buy the 4 shirts that I messed up, go all the way to a town up about 30-40 minutes up north where a friend of mine's wife has a heat press, and I got to cut and weed this vinyl and head to the north part of town to get this order done. So at the end of the video, I'm going to show you what the shirts look like. And thank you for watching South Florida Merch, and I hope you learned something. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. As always, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And until next time, take care.